If you're earning well, but your finances still feel strangely scattered sometimes, this might explain why. Everything is moving, money is coming in, accounts are growing, responsibilities are growing too. But somehow, things still feel unclear. You're doing responsible things, you're saving, you're investing, you probably already have insurance, maybe multiple accounts too. And yet, there's still this quiet feeling that things are not fully coming together properly. You have different financial priorities competing for attention: retirement, children, housing, investing, protection, travel, maybe aging parents too. And after years of working with high earning Filipino professionals, I started noticing this pattern over and over again. The issue usually isn't intelligence. It's usually not discipline either, and surprisingly, it's often not income. Many successful professionals are not financially lost. They're financially scattered. Now, this is where things become important. Because once your financial life reaches a certain level of complexity, casual money management starts breaking down. And I think many professionals don't realize that this is what's happening to them. So let me show you what I mean. I call this the financial fragmentation map. There are usually three things happening simultaneously: scattered decisions, scattered advice, and scattered execution. And the difficult part is fragmentation creates stress even when income is strong, because everything may be moving but not necessarily moving together. So, in this video, I want to show you why this happens and why many successful professionals carry this tension for years without fully understanding it. But before we go deeper into this, I'm actually curious: which part of your financial life feels the most fragmented right now? Investing? Cash flow? Insurance? Overall financial direction? Leave it in the comments below, because I think many people are quietly experiencing this but rarely talking about it. Now, one thing I've observed is that financial complexity grows much faster than most people expect. More income usually means more accounts, more obligations, and more decisions competing for our attention. Individually, none of these things look like a problem, but eventually, your financial life starts feeling less like a simple checklist and more like juggling 10 balls. That's actually what makes fragmentation difficult to notice at first, because nothing appears dramatically wrong. You just slowly start feeling like your finances are becoming mentally heavier to carry. I mean, have you ever looked at your finances and thought, technically, I'm doing okay, so why does this still feel so unclear? That feeling matters more than many people realize. Because financial fragmentation usually does not feel like financial failure. It feels more like financial overload. I mean, many successful Filipinos don't feel financially lost, but they feel financially scattered. Bills are being paid, income is stable, investments exist, insurance exists. I mean, from the outside, things look fine, but internally, things still feel strangely unclear. There's often unclear coordination, uncertain priorities, reactive decisions, and fragmented execution underneath everything. So let me give you a very common example. Imagine a professional who has multiple insurance policies, several investment accounts, cash spread across different banks, retirement goals, children's education goals, housing goals, and travel goals, but no clear framework tying everything together. I mean, individually, many of the decisions may be reasonable, but collectively, the system still feels unclear. And that's where fragmentation starts becoming emotionally heavy, because high income does not automatically create clarity. In fact, when your structure is weak, income often amplifies complexity. The stakes become higher, the decisions become more interconnected, and eventually, an important question quietly appears: at what point does a financial life become too important to manage casually? Because for many professionals, that threshold was crossed years ago. And I think this surprises a lot of people, because many professionals quietly assume that earning more money will naturally make their financial life clearer. But often, the opposite happens. You get more moving parts, more obligations, more decisions, more financial surface area, until eventually things feel financially busy, but not financially coordinated. Now, this next part is extremely important. A lot of people assume that more information naturally creates more clarity. But what I've observed is often the opposite. People watch videos, listen to podcasts, read books, follow financial pages, ask friends, and consume endless advice, and yet still feel uncertain, inconsistent, and fragmented. Because let's face it, consuming financial information is not the same thing as coordinating a financial life. I mean, information explains things, but coordinated guidance helps decisions start working together. And many professionals confuse the two. So, again, I'd be curious. What part of your financial life feels the most fragmented right now? Is it investing, cash flow, insurance, overall direction? Leave it in the comments below. By this point, the issue usually starts becoming clearer. The problem is not that nothing is happening financially, it's that too many things are happening independently. If someone looked at your entire financial life today, would they see one coordinated system or scattered financial activity? And I think this is why many high earners carry financial fragmentation underneath professional success. The issue usually isn't irresponsibility, it's that financial complexity eventually changes the rules. Now, another thing people rarely talk about is that fragmentation is psychologically exhausting because people start carrying financial tabs open mentally all the time. Unfinished decisions, delayed reviews, questions quietly running in the background all day, like browser tabs you never fully close. And over time, the mental weight quietly grows, even when your income is objectively good. And what's interesting is that many people begin postponing important decisions. Not because they don't care, but because the entire system already feels mentally heavy. Ang bigat na. And this is why I strongly believe that most professionals don't need more effort because most are already trying hard enough. The issue is that everything is disconnected. Fragmentation creates duplicated effort, conflicting priorities, and inconsistent execution. And this is where many people start misunderstanding what financial planning is actually supposed to solve for them. Because most people think financial planning is about products. But real financial planning is really about coordination. Not random products, isolated investing, or disconnected advice, but alignment, sequencing, coordination, and intentional decision making. Because even individually good decisions can fail structurally. A decision can be individually correct, but still disconnected from the larger system. Good investing without cash flow structure, goal clarity, or coordinated execution can still feel unstable. And I think this explains something very important. What many professionals are actually looking for is not endless optimization or more financial activity, and honestly, it's usually not even more products. What they're looking for is the feeling that everything is finally working together. Not confusion, scattered execution, or financial overload, but clarity, coordination, and intentional direction. And that's why many capable professionals quietly stay financially scattered for years. Not because they're unintelligent, but because complexity eventually overwhelms uncoordinated execution. Successful professionals eventually realize the issue was never a lack of effort, it was a lack of coordination. And that's why coordinated guidance eventually becomes necessary. Now, this doesn't mean financial fragmentation is some kind of financial failure. It's not. It's actually pretty normal. Financial fragmentation is what happens when the complexity of your finances outgrows the system managing it. And I think many professionals quietly crossed that threshold years ago while still telling themselves they just needed to organize things better. Which leads to a very interesting question. At what point does someone actually need financial planning? Because many people already do. They just don't realize it yet. I'm Juan Casas from Beacon Wealth Advisory. I'll see you in the next episode.